I'm standing at the moment in the town. It's not really a town, it's not even a village. It's just a very small place in the middle of the bush in southern Sudan. The name is Pure. It's a border crossing, but there are no Ugandan authorities on the Ugandan side. There are a couple of government soldiers from South Sudan here on the South Sudan side. Through here, a family is coming that has walked 3 days to the border. Nearby, people cross the border all the time in many different ways, usually by foot and usually not at official crossing points. 1.9 million people have arrived here over the past year. The world's biggest refugee crisis. Syria has had so much attention, but it is in fact in Uganda where so many of these refugees have gone, coming out of South Sudan, where I am at the moment. When they reach Uganda, they go into transit centers. The United Nations processes them there. They get an initial amount of food, and then they're taken to very large camps further behind, some of those camps with hundreds of thousands of people in each of them. So it is an enormous undertaking. This area is quiet. The soldiers have told me there has not been any fighting here, but of course there is fighting, heavy fighting that some of the refugees have reported to us today very nearby.
It was very dangerous. In fact, we were getting dead bodies on the way. Just we bypassed and we came, and it was also very risky for us to reach here, but we thank God that we have reached. Many of us planned to come, but they did not reach here.
Actually, I come from Sudan because of the war. The situation is so hard. That's why I come here to Uganda. Many people has been killed, and even many people, their house has been burned. That's why people have decided to come to Uganda.
As we've continued our work in South Sudan, it's been evident that this conflict that's causing this influx of refugees in Uganda, the increase in displacements in South Sudan, is deeply rooted in the South Sudanese people. So we do not anticipate resolution or an end to this crisis anytime soon.
8 weeks ago, this camp at Mpevi was empty. Nobody had yet arrived. Today, there are about 61,000 people living here. Yesterday, 2,200 newcomers came from South Sudan. Today, more than 1,000 more refugees. How many people can Uganda take? That really is the question right now. This is a subject that the world is not yet seized with, but Uganda has taken in hundreds of thousands of people in a very short time. The refugee crisis here is without question bigger than the one in Syria, which has received so much attention. You can see the strains here in terms of getting food, in terms of getting water, in terms of getting shelter. And Uganda, of course, is not a wealthy country. It has been welcoming so far to all these refugees, incredibly welcoming, but it's difficult to say for the future because the more people that come, the more chaos there will be.
We have very limited funds. This year our funding is still at the lowest point, at 15% of all our funding needs. So it is still a drop in an ocean. We hope for the best, but the funds we don't have yet.
What can you do with the money you have?
We are looking at very basic services, majorly water, health services and education, but we feel constrained to deal with issues like livelihood, to handle issues like GBV, issues of security and so forth. We feel so much constrained, so we have to target only basic necessities. More than 3,000 people are crossing every day to Uganda, so that's not a small number. It is equally a very big number entering to our country.
I think what's unique about this crisis and the magnitude of it is just the hopelessness that I see. I was in South Sudan about 6 weeks ago, and as I visited that country, there's such fear of the violence, fear of dying of hunger, and not knowing that, not seeing an end to that. And I think that's what makes this crisis so unique. You know, there is significant rates of malnutrition, there's significant mortality rates, there's lack of access to water, there's an inability to plant crops because of the ongoing displacements, and it just continually feeds into each other and increases the calamity and suffering. As far as the attention that this crisis is getting, it seems that although there, you know, as other crises happen, such as Syria, and where the world's attention is focused, the need here is even more significant and as significant as that. And the resources that are currently coming into the situation are only a fraction of what's needed to meet the ongoing needs just for people to have access to the basic food and life necessities.